Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Valves. My name is Ian.
And I'm Lauren.
And this is the weekend workout.
Where
we'll play with our strength and our handstand. But first, we'll warm up the joints of the body, including the wrists, the ankles, the feet, the hips, and everything else in between. We'll get our flex on for sure, as well, I'm sure. But until then, let's just get to the floor, utilizing that version of our tippy toe squat. Take us away, Lauren, on a foot warm up and squat.
All right. Let's get started. Feet underneath us in a parallel position. Square your shoulders up and your hips up to the front of your room. And then just gently bend one foot to the ball of the foot and the toes, also known as demi-point or lunge foot. Then push up, find a light balance, and come down on the other side. Let's repeat that one more time on each side. Up and down and up and down. This time upon landing, let's gently bend what was that straight leg. So now both legs are bent, hips are level, one foot or heel is still off the floor. Extend the first leg, press up, come down on the other side. Heel comes down, one leg stays bent, other leg turns to bent. And then gently extend, press to tall. Let's do that one more time on each side. Control the down, straight knee blends to a bent knee. Extend the hips, squeeze the cheeks as you go up. Balance on our toes, balance on our hands today. And then press to tall. Let's drive that heel down. Before we continue towards the floor, let's do one toe roll over from that toe point. Then gently flex around over the toes. Stay here for a second. We'll try to fight that cramp monster. With your knee and your hip staying stationary, could you wing that ankle out? And then could you pull it back into center, roll over the toes, through the heel, extend the hip, same thing, second side, ball of foot. Point toes, lightly flex around over those toes. Knee stays, ankle, this is your hip stays, ankle wings out. Then ankle pulls back in, rolls over the toes and down. One more time, we'll go up and hold. Thinking about this when we get towards our handstands, we're pulling up our kneecaps, we're squeezing our butt cheeks, we're ribs over hips. Don't worry if handstands scare you, there's plenty to do that aren't handstands. Knees bent. Then slowly continue down that elevator. Heels will come up, soft landing with or without those hands. Extend the hips forward. Squeeze all your butt cheeks. Point your toes out the back. Sit on those pointed toes. See how that feels. Still squeeze your cheeks. And then
wrist time. Wrist time and balance time already. So let's hinge on those hips, pushing the hips back towards the heels, and land with the floor, fingertips, calluses, and hands. And as we get into those handstands, feel that flow through the hand for safety and control. From this position, we're heavy on the fingertips, those callus lines, and the blood donations, those elbow points are facing back, and divots, I guess, are facing forward. And in this wrist extension position, let's extend the neck, meaning looking forward. And then the crown of the head pushes away from the spine as we do our chin tuck. And a small shape is a true shape to neck flexion or chin tuck. Repeating for twos, extension of the neck forward, and then that gentle chin tuck, crown reaching away from the head. And then first knuckle push-up time. Get some of that crack out, get up on those demi-points of the hands, which are those first knuckles or metacarpal heads, and very, very slow, with control, build up that strength in the wrists, the control and the awareness of the fingertips. And if we did it so much one more time, flick the floor away, push the hips through, keep the rib cage down, and shake it out a little bit as well. Let's do a quarter turn with the hands face the side now, always landing fingers, callus lines, then full hands. Let's do the head neck first here again, and it'll be our lateral bend at the neck, meaning an ear to shoulder. The nose stays very stable in place, the ear goes towards one side and then the other. And again, move the head, not the neck. Think about those small shapes that can help stabilize at the neck and just provide a little bit of that mobility to move around your head. So now my head is back down in the middle shape, and now I'll press to the right, meaning I'll drift to the left, and then feel heavy fingertips on that left hand and press yourself to the right in my case. Push one way, go the other. Very useful skill for those handstands as well. And I'll do one more full revolution or repetition to the other side, and then finish in the middle. And then that first knuckle push-up action of pushing up and shaking out. There's one more wrist prep. Let's do our knuckles. So aim to be on those peace sign knuckles here as we hinge back, land on those peace signs, same commitment to having those blood donations forward. Then I'll open one set of fingers, so that's my left hand. They'll become flush with the floor. And tracking over that index and peace sign digit with the middle finger, flex over the wrist. That's flexibility. Let's add strength to it by pushing those metacarpal heads or knuckles in the floor to return the wrist to stacked. Alternate to the other side. Open the hand, gently flex over, keeping the elbow straight and shoulder packed down, and then press into the floor through the knuckles to bring back. And final time other side, the fingers open first. We flex over the wrist, meaning bend, elbow is straight though, and push down to arrive. And final one on this other side now. Great looking shape there. Lauren, she has that nice shoulder pack there as well. Then come back to stack and use those fingers to press away one last time at our shake. Now this last time on those hands, how's it going?
Last time.
Build up that endurance and strength. Same thing with the original hand position, so the wrist extension position. Check in. Does that feel same, better, different? Hopefully it can feel a little bit more open. Lastly, at the head and neck now, let's rotate. I'll look over my right shoulder to look towards Lauren, and then looking through the bottom, looking out the other side. We'll just do 2s here each, and again, always check in with those small things like our fingertips and the grips and the control of the head and neck. If any of these movements are just right, stay there, push the floor away, or if they're feeling great and you want to progress, by all means, we can do that too. We're down on the ground, Lauren. What should we do next?
We should get our core going.
Ooh, awesome.
So let's flip to our back today and explore some hollow holds. We'll progress the hollow hold from the most basic step to the more advanced step, and you should be practicing these if you are really interested in perfecting that handstand. So first, we're lying on the floor, our arms or our palms are up at our side, our chin is lightly tucked, and our feet are flat. Next, feel your spine, make it normal. When you make your spine normal, you'll create a little bit of a hollow behind your back. We'll call that where the mouse lives. So with the mouse behind our back, don't squish them, it hurts. We will then connect our ribs to our hips. So what we're going to do is lift our head and shoulders off the floor, trying to staple our ribs towards our hips, but not squishing that mouse. That could be a challenge in itself. Hold. If you'd like to add more, we could alternate a leg lift. One up, one down. If you'd like to add more, we could lift both legs off the floor. And then we could extend one out away from us and pull it back into center. As we're here and continuing this for one more time, think about your abs lifting your shoulders up off the floor, not your head and neck. It's going to be working, but try to make it more core. Ultimately here, that we could extend our legs out away from us. You can start to hear that quiver in my voice. My toes are pointed, my legs are tight together, my butt cheeks are squeezed, and ultimately I'll take those arms towards overhead to be in my full handstand looking position. And we'll hold and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, pull everything back to center, keep the mouse, and then slowly relax. Whew.
Let's do that in one more time, in a second. Until then, let's get into a lunging position where we get to continue warming up those ankles, knees, and hips. The title slide for today had Lauren demonstrating that pistol squat. Let's show some nice progressions that can help us achieve that skill today as well.
No clickbait here.
No. So start, assemble in your lunge position. We have our tuck under back leg and our pulling in femur in the front. Then pull yourself forward, and as Lauren's side profile shows the best, the shoulders and the hips are moving as a team, avoiding that sway back shape. Yeah, not that one. But good demonstration.
Good bad
not
demonstration.
That one. Then just easy does it for now. Just push back to Lauren's tall position as if there's a wall behind your buttock. Then same thing. So squeeze your back butt cheek, pull on that front leg, and drift forward. This skill right here, that knee over toe skill, super important to progress your safe squats, one leg or on 2. Then press through to tall. Open that leg to the side this time, somewhere between that 10 and 11 on a clock face, and pull your feet together and drift away as well. The likelihood is your butt goes back and the chest goes forward, so keep the hip extended in the back, and as Lauren just did right there, push back to tall. And now the wall is at our side, and behind us. Avoid the duck out to the side. Repeat just twice more again as we pull ourselves across and then push through, finding that tension to educate those positions with strength. And one more time, pull together, push away, heel toe to the front. Let's get back to that toe tip and then assemble those knees underneath and switch to the other leg out front. Again, this is a cow hip in the front by pulling the femur in, and a butt cheek squeeze or a cat-like hip by tucking that back hip under. Pull the foot on the floor to drift forward. Lauren's shoulders and hips are looking great there. And then squeeze your back butt cheek as you push through the front leg. Then pull through that front leg to create that stability, and the push forward will create that power to actually go back. I think we did 3, so let's do one more time here as we pull ourselves in and then push through. As we progress this, we'll reach out to the side. And again, pick a movement that feels great for you. If the movement we show next is a little bit too aggressive, come back to the ones before. They should assemble to help us get there. Lauren's drifting, we'll do the same. And then push into that bent leg to grow tall. Cramp those bum cheeks. When we do this move in the studio, it's amazing how wide the eyes can get. Find that tension. We're happy to be flexible as we get towards the over, but it's more important to be strong. So come back with control. Move to the front, back to that toe tip and underneath, and let's get fired up on those abs one more time.
All right, let's do that. Starting on your back, we will progress again through those stages a little bit faster, but please feel free to pause at the stage that is appropriate for you. Ready, mouse, alive, palms up, feet flat on the floor. First move, ribs to hips, whoomp, stay, or lift both knees, stay, or extend one or both legs, hold. Toes are pointed. If I came through the screen and tried to pull your legs apart, it would be hard. They're tight together. Kneecaps are pulled up. Cheeks are squeezed. Core is braced, but breathing underneath for the last 7 seconds. Bring your arms towards overhead. 6, 5, 4, 2. Pull everything to center. Gently relax. Whoa. Let's flip over from here and go right away into our first little crawl. Our first crawl will be that elephant because it lengthens out those hamstrings and it gets us towards that upside down position, telling our head and our body what's about to happen. So with those hands gripping the floors, their shoulders packed, toes are tucked, let's first just hover our knees off the floor. Right away engaging that core, then tipping the tailbone to the ceiling and lightly lifting the hips. Prioritize that long tailbone or that anterior tip in the hips over straightening those knees. Because it's so early, let's just gently take a second and pedal your heels towards the floor one at a time. Breathing, and then let's come back through to that bear hover position. So knees will bend again just off the floor. Anterior tip the hips or tailbone to ceiling one more time. Lift them up in the air. Get towards straight legs. Either stay here or take an opposite hand and foot for a walk in the forward direction. You're breathing. You're trying to pick up and land at about the same time here. Rolling through those hands, trying to keep your heels towards the floor. Breathe. Once you've taken your steps forward, let's go back to where we came from. Again, it's still opposite hand and leg. Take your time. 3, 2, then we'll walk our hands towards our feet. Tuck our chin. We're in our first forward fold of the day here. Take a second. Pull your shoulder blades back together like you're pinching a pencil. Tuck your chin. Slowly stack yourself on top of your hips using the muscles in the front and the back of your spine. Once you're up nice and tall, take a breath, shake it out.
Shake it out. And as promised, the exploration of the single leg squat. So today we'll explore our movement clock here on a bent leg. The straight leg, though, will be pointing to the clock face at midnight, and then 11 and 9 as we go around the clock in a counterclockwise way first. So I'll be standing on my right leg and bend that single leg knee just like we did in the warm-up to get down to the floor, and then press the hip through, bringing ourselves back to tall. Then reach that same leg towards that diagonal, like 10 o'clock or 11, and then push the hip through and assemble together. And then reach out to the side. We'll spend some time here and do our little John Travolta hips here, and maybe some tucks under and back, and find center position.
My leg was tired.
And then assemble tall. Add time under tension. That's a super important training value here. And then reach towards that backside, toes point, of course, and make up some John Travolta's there if you wish. And then that same leg to the back. We might get a forward lean, and that's okay. And then underneath. Let's just do the same exercise on the other side. So it's a single leg squat with the leg reaching out front, and press those hips forward. Reach to that diagonal. Same thing. Very light tension on that foot and through. We'll pause just a little bit longer out at the side and do some hip hikes. Find level. Do some tucks and tips. Find the middle, and then press through to tall. Then reach to that back corner, similar to a skate stride. The hips are staying forward, and then through. And last time to the back. Toe point. Bring ourselves back tall and shake. Little movement clock with a bent leg variation. Back to the zoo.
All right. We're going to next crawl. We're going to take our elephant and take away its leg. It's nice. It's okay. We'll use our hip hinge, chippity chop. And then first, let's establish our plank position. So we'll be long elephants first, with our toes still tucked, our hips in our plank position, our butt cheek squeezed, our shoulders pulled down. Bracing those abs just like you did in your hollow hold earlier. Now taking a single leg, we'll flick the floor away and lift the hips up towards that down dog or that elephant-like position. Now, because we're in handstand class, not yoga, your hips are square to the floor. Your top knee is nice and straight. Your bottom heel is pressing towards the floor, and then we'll pull ourselves back through to that plank position and hold. To get a little extra out of this, try to get your shoulders towards over top of your fingertips in wrist extension. Push the floor forward, lifting the other leg, reaching it to the sky. Do your checklist, hips square, knee straight, heel towards the floor, pull yourself through. One more time each leg. Breathe, take a second in that wrist extension, and then push back. Square up the hips, straighten the knees, pull yourself forward. One last time, wrist extension, and then push back, flicking the floor away. Square up your hips. We'll come one more time into our plank and hold for 5, 4, keep the elbows straight. 2, then lift the hips. This time, staple the hands to the floor, lightly, nicely, and walk your feet towards your hands. Then, tuck your chin forward or unfold yourself all the way back up. Oh, we keep that hip square to the floor versus opening to the side, because in our kick-ups to our handstands that are coming soon, as soon as we open, we're going to fall the other way.
Oh, sideways.
So keep those squared up hips.
Great. Keep those squared up hips, and in a different exercise here, challenge the depth of your squat as well. So press your feet, assemble your feet rather, into your squat position, slightly turned out, just outside the width of your hips. Press the feet out. That'll be that up mechanism, and right away you might be able to feel your abs, core, glutes safely fire up. Without moving, pull the feet together, and those adductor muscles of the groin might say a little bit of a good morning. Chill it out. Add a little shake and wiggle too. Those are also beneficial skills to assemble. Pull ourselves down. So pull your feet together without moving first, and then pull yourself towards your safe squat. Here, there, making sure that you feel safe to get low and as you power up to come home. I think today I'm going to widen my feet just a little bit. That's what my hips are telling me. What are your hips telling you? Let's do the same thing, but then we're going to stand up and then copy this position once we stand up. So let's get down into your squat position first and work on our weight transfers as you pull those feet together. Then pick up a foot, point out, find that similar stance for the squat, and do the same thing. And again, progressing, let's find a single base of support, or 2, but then we'll land again. What we do on one side, we'll do on the other. Find that base of support with the weight transfer and point. And one last time, find that ankle, perhaps find the knee, and then point and land. And the final one here, woo, find a balance, perhaps find the knee, straight leg, squat, power up, and then add our little wiggle, shaking it out.
All right, we're progressing those handstand skills towards our wall climbs, kick-ups.
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 Kick-ups, then wall climb sounds good.
I remembered flipped order. Kick-ups first. So baby air to start. We'll start with that tripod entry, which is hands on the floor, gripping the floor nice and wide open. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, but most importantly, pull your shoulders over top of those wrists. Either practicing this or crawling around on all fours as a bear or an elephant. We are going to first start with baby air. That means you're going to flick the floor away, kick up, switch legs. Kick up, switch legs. Now, from a baby, you might get to a toddler and get a little bit more air time. After the toddler stage, the next one, I guess you're a child, you get a little higher, working your way up towards the safest and biggest kick up you feel comfortable with. Let's do about 2 more here. I would recommend alternating that kickoff leg. Last one, and then soft landing and pressing the floor away. Whatever phase of life or handstands you are in, take your time there.
Take your time.
Give your wrists a shake. Make sure they feel okay as we progress through these drills.
Right on. Working on the single leg squat. Let's take a single leg and reach it out front, bent on one. Then from that position, just press off the back leg and try to go over the toe. There might not be room to do it, but just as Lauren is, try to go over those toes. Then land toe ball heel, and let's just pull ourselves back into that nice squat with an upright body. Then push off the back leg, push forward on the front, and do the same thing. Try to straighten that back leg at the knee. Then toe ball heel, and just land with 2 straight legs. Now perceive that straight line from the foot to the hip on the front leg. Squeeze your butt cheeks, keep the rib cage connected to the hips, and assemble in a nice little lean back. Lauren's line looks awesome. Then press off that back leg all the way through to tall. The final one will land toe ball heel. Let's sit back into that same squats position. We might grow up or get a little taller as we go, but now try to keep the hips extending, keep the rib cage connected, hang out, feel a pleasant burn, and then press off that back leg, connect the knee, and then clear the foot without bringing the knee through. Excellent. Well done. Let's do the same thing now on the other side. So that leg that was behind was my right, so I'll be taking that same right leg to the front.
That's the hardest part.
That sometimes is the hardest part to remember which leg you just did. Then press off the back leg, and again, always trying to finish with those toe points over. Then land toe ball heel on that leg, then blend that knee bend into our nice squats position, and then press off the back, point the toe out the back, land toe ball heel, straight leg. Straight line from the front foot to the hip. Keep the rib cage connected, keep your glutes squeezing. Make sure you can breathe. And then press off that back leg, point that back toe if it's available, and then toes, balls, heels. We'll get in that squat first. Straight line on that front leg. Quads stay parallel, hips stay extended, rib cage stays down, quivers probably engage here, and press off that back leg. The knee connects, and then to finish tall. Shake it out. Lauren's favorite way to get in that handstand is that tripod kick up. I always prefer that step in. How do we cue that?
So that step in will be staying up tall. We'll take 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. I like to point a foot out in front of me and then raise my arms over my head. Before you go anywhere, think back to that banana or that hollow hold. As we enter, try not to extend, but to pull into that nice position. Again, we'll start with baby air. So our hands will land, our feet will hover off the floor, and then we'll flip the floor away and come back up to standing. Let's alternate that takeoff leg again. Baby air, flick away. Maybe we get a little bit higher this time. And soft landing, and then again alternating that leg, little bit higher, not quite upside down yet, and back. Now, go ahead, add a little bit more energy as you'd like, but safely come down to that same position. Still keep alternating. It is trickier on one leg than the other. One more time each side. If we leave that leading leg behind us back there, making that L shape, we'll be a little bit safer, avoiding any sort of too big of a kick and going over top. Take your time off again, check in with those wrists.
Checking in.
Come back to that soon.
We'll be going to that wall in just a second to practice more time under tension techniques, regress to those kick-ups, or regress even further towards just those wrist warm-ups Take your time, check in on the wrists and those joints of the body, and particularly the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the back, all of them. They're all important. But let's continue that exploration of our single leg squat. Let's pull up a single leg to that little ankle nook down low. This is our ballet class, rather a handstand class. Could we have that ballet inspired foot? Karate dorsiflex ankle could be appropriate too. But from this position now, let's just do our single leg squat and push the hip through to get tall. Squeeze your butt. We're gonna do 2 more, so a set of 3 here, because it's Lauren's favorite number, and it's a good number. Represents a learning curve of, oh, what is this? I can do this. And then that last one aims to be some of the best. And I think that's 3. So repeat on the other side. Those shakes are always good and important in between as well. So knee over toe, push the hip through, bum squeeze. Repeat again, knee over toe. Push your hips through, butt squeeze. And repeat one last time. Hips through, assemble. Own it with control. And then shake out. Clear that wall space, Lauren. Get on over there and work on an upside down version of a wall climb.
If you don't have a wall, you can also use a windowsill.
You got it.
And if you don't have a windowsill, a coffee table or the edge of a couch.
Yes.
So you may not get quite as vertical, but don't feel you have to climb the wall.
Or an exercise bench if you're in the gym, of course. But in this case, Lauren, assemble with your feet on the wall, straight elbows, and gently.
This is what it might look like if you're on a coffee table.
That little L shape, little inversion. But from here, Lauren will press herself towards that wall, pressing the hands into the ground. And today we're gonna hold it for about 15 seconds, which is about 10 seconds more. Breathe into that. Go through your checklist. And Lauren's going through a beautiful checklist there of playing a little touch and go with the wall. That's 15, Lauren. So up with control as well as she did, and then down with that little cartwheel as well. You go, I go, pretty common rep scheme. So it's my turn and our turn next.
So climbing that wall, always maintaining again that hollow shape, even as you get up into this position here. Once you're there, you're pushing the floor away. Now, looking at this beautiful line here, his nose is almost to the wall. That will probably not be you on your first time. 3, 2, safe dismount. So don't force getting too close to the wall if that's not right for you. You could stay more at that 45-ish degree angle and slowly work towards the upside down.
Let's do it again. If your body's ready for it. So again, take some rest in between, at least as much rest as what you did in an activity. And Lauren will do it again. And we're hanging out for today about 15 seconds. We do have our goal of trying to hit our 1-minute handstand, and increasing your time on the wall can help that. As Lauren has 5 more seconds to go, the toes are pointed. We're even off the wall. That's amazing. That's a nice advanced skill for sure. And then take your time coming down. Graceful. Lauren Grace right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Another wall climb for Team Ian here. So we are facing the wall, and we're doing that to prevent kicking into the wall and then holding that banana shape. That's not to say that this banana shape cannot creep in here. So making sure we're hanging off the front of our body or our core, 3 more seconds, versus extending that spine and then soft landing. The more stacked you get, the easier it will be to balance when you're upside down. That's the same rule of life, standing on 2 feet.
Stand on 2 feet.
This is a little bit harder.
Let's give the wrists just 1 second break. We'll try one more version of our squat, and then we'll finish with our minute of craziness, which means crawl around, jump around for 1 minute on those hands. We'll have fun.
Jump up.
So pull up to that ankle position down low, and on a single leg, get low. Then use your kickstand, aim to get a little bit lower, remove the kickstand, and push your hip all the way through. Let's just do 2 of those because it's quicker. Knee over toe. Gently get the toe down on the other side. Assemble yourself lower, build that strength, and come home from that, finishing nice and tall. Whew. Find a way to make 2 or 3 reps enough, add that tension value of time. Knee goes over the toe. Let the other foot kickstand down, get a little lower, even if it's in your imagination, then remove the kickstand and push the hip through, firm butt squeeze. Repeat again, knee over toe. Kickstand assist, get a little bit lower, remove the kickstand, and then push through, finishing tall. So that minute of craziness again as we finish could be going through the wrist warm-up, hanging out in your plank or that 3-point down dog, or culminate all of those skills in this pursuit of the elusive 1-minute handstand.
Pick whatever you're going to do. Bear, elephant, cheetah.
Ooh.
It's a new one. And in 5 seconds, we'll put the time on the clock and practice whatever move it is for up towards that minute. Even that hollow hold would be a great thing to practice.
3, 2. Kick up again. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to be done on that.
What time are we at?
We are at 5 after that.
No, like what time did you start?
We've been trying for 55 seconds. 3, 2. That's been 1 full minute of trying.
I had to spend a minute on my hands just to build up that strength.
So that is a really hard task to do without the requisites of being against the wall. If you're trying to hold something in the middle of the room for a minute, we have to make sure we can do that against the wall as well. So those skills aim to assemble to create that amazing freestanding handstand of yours. Be patient, practice maybe once more this week, and next week on Saturday, we will be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Until then, on Tuesday, we start with our kettlebell strength class, where we've been progressing our skills towards 100 kettlebell swings.
75 coming up
Not
this week.
all at once, so don't be intimidated. We do some sets of 5s and 10s. Anyway, 75 coming this week. And then on Thursday, we go to the other side of the room and we practice our hips and our skills pressing our kettlebell, and then it all comes back on Saturday.
Saturday we'll be here.
So until then, check out our website, check out our Patreon, like and subscribe on YouTube, and take care, stay strong.
Train soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.